an independent editorial analysis of Japan's defense posture and security policy.
The convergence of American technology and East Asian strategic requirements has produced two distinct maritime lineages from a single genetic source. The concurrent operational maturity of the Maya class, fielded by the Japan Maritime Self-Defense Force, and the Jeongjo the Great-class, formerly the Jeongjo the Great Batch II, represents a bifurcation in naval philosophy. While both platforms are built around the Lockheed Martin Aegis combat system and the ANSPY-1D radar, their respective architectures reveal profound differences in how Tokyo and Seoul envision the future of maritime warfare. This divergence is not merely a matter of hull displacement or missile counts. It reflects a fundamental disagreement on the balance between organic firepower and network-centric warfare. At the heart of this comparison is a difference in hull design that dictates operational endurance and acoustic signature. The Maya class utilizes a combined gas turbine electric and gas, or COGLAG, propulsion system. This configuration prioritizes fuel efficiency during cruising and significantly reduces the underwater acoustic signature of the vessel. This is a critical feature for anti-submarine warfare operations in the deep waters of the Pacific. It suggests that Japanese planners view the Maya not as an isolated capital ship, but as a multi-domain asset that must operate in contested environments, where subsurface threats are as potent as aerial ones. In contrast, the South Korean platform employs a traditional combined gas and gas, or COGAG arrangement. This maximizes raw speed and power responsiveness. While necessary for a vessel displacing nearly 12,000 tons fully loaded, it introduces a trade-off in terms of logistical tethering and acoustic stealth. The South Korean design appears to prioritize the ability to sprint and position a massive arsenal rapidly. This aligns with a strategy that emphasizes immediate reaction and high visibility deterrence over prolonged, quiet endurance. The structural composition of the weapon systems further elucidates these doctrinal differences. The South Korean vessel is frequently described in media reports as possessing superior capability due to its sheer volume of vertical launch cells. This exceeds 120 units when combining the American Mark 41 system with the indigenous KVLS. However, a systems analysis reveals that this arsenal is designed for a specific strategic nightmare: the need for massive independent punitive strikes against terrestrial targets. The integration of ship-launched ballistic missiles and heavy land attack cruise missiles indicates that the Republic of Korea Navy views this destroyer as a strategic asset, one capable of executing the Korea Massive Punishment and Retaliation Doctrine independently of U.S. assets. It is effectively a floating arsenal, designed to operate with a high degree of autonomy, reflecting Seoul's desire for a kill chain that does not rely entirely on external decision-making loops. Conversely, the Japanese approach with the Maya class, equipped with 96 Mark 41 cells, appears numerically inferior only if one ignores the force-multiplying effect of network integration. The defining feature of the Maya is not its organic magazine depth, but its integration of the Cooperative Engagement Capability, or CEC. This system fundamentally alters the geometry of the battle space. It allows the destroyer to engage targets that its own radar cannot see, utilizing tracking data from E-2D Hawkeye aircraft or other CEC-enabled platforms. From an operational standpoint, this transforms the Maya from a standalone shooter into a node within a distributed lethality network. The Japanese doctrine accepts a lower individual missile count to achieve a higher probability of kill through sensor fusion. This highlights a constraint in the South Korean architecture. while heavily armed, it currently lacks this level of deep integration with the wider U.S.-Japan operational picture, effectively limiting its radar horizon to the curvature of the Earth. There is also a significant divergence in the missile defense architecture that underpins the existence of these ships. The Maya class was conceived primarily as a ballistic missile defense shield, optimized for the SM-3 Block IIA interceptor. This missile, developed jointly by the United States and Japan, allows for the engagement of targets at much higher altitudes and longer ranges, potentially including intercontinental ballistic missiles in their mid-course phase. The operational logic here is defensive depth, protecting not just the fleet, but the Japanese archipelago and U.S. facilities in Guam. The South Korean vessel, while BMD capable, has historically focused on terminal and lower-tier defense, though this is expanding. The trade-off is clear. Japan invests in a shield that protects the alliance infrastructure, while South Korea invests in a sword intended to decapitate an adversary's leadership or command nodes. Industrial factors also play a critical role in these configurations. The South Korean push for the KVLS and indigenous effectors creates a distinct supply chain. While fostering domestic industry, this introduces interoperability challenges. In a high-intensity coalition conflict, a Japanese vessel can theoretically be rearmed from U.S. Navy stocks with standard missiles, whereas a South Korean vessel relies on a specific domestic logistics tail for its primary offensive armament. This highlights the tension between the political goal of defense autonomy and the military efficiency of standardized logistics. The Japanese industrial base, led by Mitsubishi Heavy Industries, has focused on refining the integration of American systems with Japanese electronics and propulsion, resulting in a platform that is less chemically distinct from the U.S. Navy lineage, but more seamlessly interoperable. Furthermore, the personnel requirements for these ships indicate different approaches to automation and demographic realities. The Maya class operates with a crew of approximately 300, a number achieved through increased automation compared to previous classes like the Atago. This reflects the acute demographic crisis facing the Japan Self-Defense Forces, where recruitment shortfalls mandate distinct labor-saving technologies. The larger South Korean vessel requires a larger complement, which allows for greater damage control redundancy, but imposes a higher personnel cost over the life cycle of the ship. As both nations face shrinking working-age populations, the Japanese focus on automation and efficiency may prove to be the more sustainable model for maintaining a large surface fleet in the coming decades. The strategic trade-off essentially boils down to the difference between a fortress and a neural network. The Jeongjo the Great-class is a fortress at sea, formidable, imposing, and capable of devastating independent action. It serves the political need for a visible symbol of national power and a practical need for a conventional strategic deterrent. The Maya class is a neural network node, less terrifying in isolation, but exponentially more dangerous when viewed as part of the total combined fleet. It sacrifices individual hull volume and missile quantity for stealth, sensor reach, and network survivability. In the context of a high-end conflict in East Asia, the value of these platforms will depend on the nature of the engagement. If the scenario involves a rapid, chaotic exchange of fire within the Korean Peninsula theater, the massive organic magazine of the South Korean vessel offers an immediate tactical advantage. However, in a protracted maritime campaign across the vast distances of the Western Pacific, where logistics, sensor coverage, and joint operations define victory, the efficient, quiet, and hyper-connected architecture of the Maya class offers a distinct systemic advantage. The evolution of these two classes suggests that, while the hardware looks similar on the surface, the operational minds in Tokyo and Seoul are preparing for fundamentally different wars. Whether the future belongs to the independent arsenal ship or the integrated network node remains an open strategic question, one defined by how effectively these technologies can adapt to an increasingly transparent and contested maritime domain.